So, so welcome again to our online workshop. And today it's all about the harmonizers. And, before I want to talk about some logistics. So if you have questions, please write them down or put them in the chat. And Marina is going, my assistant. I have all my team here with us. She is going to write them down and give them to me at the end so I can answer your questions at the end. And yeah, so, and also some people who are not familiar with Zoom, they were irritated because they saw everybody and they didn't want that. So on the top right side corner, you have it says view, and you can change it here. You can click on gallery, then you see everyone who is here. Oh, Peter Walker, good to see you. Virginia, hey. So, okay. So anyway, this is what you do. If you don't want to see everybody, then just go click on the view and you only have the speaker. And what else? Yeah, if you want to mute yourself during in the beginning so we don't have extra noises. And I like to see the gallery. I'm going to see who is here, all your amazing people. And what else is on logistics? Yeah, that's about it. If you have questions, I'd like you to show your faces so I know who I'm talking to. And that's about it for now. So, okay. So I actually, I was thinking today, it's 25 years and a month, and what's the date today? 20 years and 15 days that I met the one and only Slim Sperling. So, but before I met Slim in person, I got introduced to the Light Life tools and I got super excited about what they can do for us. And mind you, at the time, he only had 8 products. So, and having all these amazing results just with the 8 product still blows my mind. And as you might tell, that I'm still as excited, if not more, having everything available now. It's just the best. So I'm so happy to share that with you all. And yeah, so when I started reading about the tools and everything, I thought, oh, I want to help Slim to get them out in the world. And so, okay, so this was helping. I realized when I came over here that it's not about helping, it's about getting the job done, because there was no one else that would take on the project. So it was up to me, and here I am. And for those of you, wait a moment, let me just see who, oh, I gotta do something. Who haven't met, wait a moment, get out of here. So those of you who haven't met the man, here he is, just a moment. Let me share the man with you. Here he is, the one and only. He called himself a hillbilly, but obviously he was much more than that. He was just a very amazing man. I mean, he definitely was an alchemist, and he trained himself in blacksmithing, and I think that definitely helped him to create the tools. And I get to that in a little bit. But he was a very special man. He had amazing energy, amazing talents, and he was so humble, and he was so approachable. Some people thought they had to become friends with me so that they could get to Slim, but that wasn't the case, because Slim would talk to everybody who talked to him or wanted to have some questions. He was always there for people. So, and one of his visions was to restore the health of the environment and mankind, and reducing air pollution was one of the big things that he wanted to accomplish, and of course helping us staying healthy or getting healthy again without any negative side effects. So he was a herbalist, and this comes handy a little bit later when I talk about the harmonizer, the environmental harmonizers, and what we can do with that. But so anyway, by him creating the Light Life tools and his dowsing techniques to locate and block geopathic stress line is just really can be a lifesaver for many of us. And yeah, so that is in short. I invite you to go to his website, slimsperling.com, or check out videos on YouTube. And I just want to make sure you understand when you read all the books or listen to some of the videos, the numbers we are talking about, or Slim talks about, are unfortunately not valid anymore. You know, when he started, and I think it was 1993 when he created the first harmonizer, there was like not as much pollution on a like from an EMF part. There were not as many cars, there were not as many houses like where we are living, and you know, where our office is. We moved here 15 years ago, and there were no houses, you know, like we still have a gravel road, but they built several subdivisions here. They put a school there, you know, buildings going up everywhere. So of course the range of the harmonizers cannot go as far out as it used to be. And so we just have to take that into consideration. And but there are other ways where you can find out through dowsing how far it can go out. And I'm also telling you later how you can program them so that you can, you know, maybe extend the field. So who is this workshop for? This workshop is for you if you want to have more harmony and balance in your life, if you want to do something for the environment, for the community, if you want to create, you know, reducing air pollution, just helping your environment to thrive. And so, and it's also if you are looking for ways to contribute in a bigger way and not just for yourself, then definitely this is something for you, because we have amazing testimonials from people. We have this technology can really has already saved people's lives by diverting harmonizers and hurricanes and all this good stuff. So we are, yeah. What I'm going to share later with you, because I'm so excited. I just came up with this new project on Saturday, and my mind has been going like crazy since then. And yeah, we have something that is much bigger than us, and we can make a huge, huge contribution. So, yep. Okay, so for those of you who have are not familiar with the harmonizers or with the Light Life tools at all, so I just want to give a brief explanation about the ring, the Light Life ring, and I think you can see it. Wait a moment. So let me put that behind. So, oops. So that's the ring. Okay, this is where it all started, and the ring, those of you who read the book, you know that the first rings were simple copper soldered together, and they had a positive and a negative side. But because that's just what metal has, everything has a right spin and a left spin, or a positive and a negative side. And so anyway, what's happening inside the so-called tensor field is that it is emitting a coherent light field. And so what we have now, those rings are actually twisted so that you have a positive light field, right, a right spin light field on both sides. So you don't have to worry about which way am I using it. And this is just has amazing power. It's by itself, but Slim wanted to create something that helps the environment. And so he put first two rings together, and he has been always working with clairvoyant who could tell him what they are seeing. And so that wasn't enough to make a difference. Then they added a third ring. You can see now we have 3 rings, and that was much better, but it needed something else. And this is when they started putting the coil, and I'm using the lost cubic coil because, oh, wait a moment. I think, do I have my screen blurred? Let me just double check here. Give me a second. Yeah, so I don't need to blur my background. Now it's better to see. Okay, so the coil inside the harmonizer is essential that we have this toroidal field. And so this is what a toroidal field looks like. You see, you have a constant movement. And so everything in the coil is pulling in the negative in, and the positive is coming out. And so all the harmonizers generate a coherent light field, and the energy of the harmonizer is inside the harmonizer. Like here we have this light field that goes around, but what you find inside are many different frequencies, and they have a harmonics that overrides all the disharmonic frequencies that come in our way. So this is something really to pay attention to. So the harmonizer, and they work with you. And what happens when we have more harmonizers in a field, and Virginia can talk to that more. Virginia is one of our amazing healers and distributors in Albany, New York, and she has many harmonizers and had amazing results. So here I have another toroid, and when I put that together, you can see how the field gets denser. Okay, because sometimes people say, what does it do when I have more than one harmonizer? So the light field gets denser. So the light field gets denser, and this is basically what impacts us in a positive way. And just if you wonder, yeah, what can it do for me? You know, depending where you are, what your environment is like, it can just start at home. You know, start at home. We have many reports where people say, all of a sudden, you know, my kids get along, no more arguing at the dinner table, or, well, I don't know what happened, but I just realized when my, you know, family members, they came for dinner, they left. We didn't have any arguments. There was no banging the doors and leaving upset, and you know, just so many things. Or at work, if you have just a not very pleasant work environment, the harmonizer can help you have that. This is going to be much better. So this can really support you in wherever you are. And especially now with hurricane season on the East Coast, we just got a testimonial from one of our customers there, and it was so moving what he said. And he met Slim and I obviously years ago, and I just see if I can find it. So give me a little space. Oh, I don't see it anymore. Oh, here. Yeah. So let me just share that so you know what I'm talking about. Oh, okay. Here we go. Share the screen. Don't you love technology? Okay, so this came just in a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And so you can read it for yourself. And we have to send him an email and let him know that he can actually download the frequency for free now. So just imagine that, you know, only having 3 inches of rain and wind of 30, 40, and before it was 120 miles an hour and headed directly in that direction. So this always blows my mind to have those reports amazing. And yeah, and we have, of course, many of those reports. But I want to start with the environmental harmonizer, because this is the harmonizer that Slim first created, and because his concern was to reduce the brown cloud in Denver. So in the early 90s, Denver was known for the brown cloud. People didn't want to live there. He said, you know, sometimes you could barely see like 100 feet because it was so polluted. It was so bad. And so the first harmonizer and was the environmental harmonizer, because this was the harmonizer that Slim wanted to make, you know, helping the environment. And so I just show you a picture now of what one of the first harmonizers looked like, and then I show you what we are having now. So this was one of the first harmonizers, and you know, in March 18, 1994, Slim did with 10 friends a Denver clearing project, and at that time they needed, if you read our material, it talks about the R2 unit, and the R2 unit is actually was needed at the time because the harmonizers didn't have the power and the strength to work. If you're looking at our harmonizers now, and like this is our environmental harmonizer now, and you know, different sizes. This is the agricultural, and so this is makes a huge difference. And so what the environmental harmonizer, people have been using and still are using them, obviously, in healing sessions. Some healing practitioners have them under their massage table, so it helps to the clients to relax. But of course, if you have another harmonizer, you can use that too. If it is larger, you can use that. But all of them, no matter which one, if you have the little one, the personal, this one, they all create this coherent light field. And it really depends on what you want to accomplish, how far they can go out, or which one you want to use. For example, when you say, okay, you have them in gold and in silver plated, which one should I take? Okay, so it really depends what you want to accomplish. If you have a lot of air pollution going on, I would say take the gold-plated one, because what we found is that everything that we can see, like air pollution, tornadoes, hurricanes, plant growth, you know, this the gold-plated one seems to work the best. When it comes to the unseen, like emotions, like EMF, then or radiation, then the silver-plated one seems to work the best. You know, so if you have, for example, if you have a home and you have teenager and you want to bring some more quietness and peace back into your home, then a silver-plated lost qubit harmonizer might be a good choice. If you have a garden or a little farm, then gold-plated lost qubit harmonizer may be the better choice. In the beginning, Slim had obviously only the sacred qubit measurement available, and this is what was used for everything. So, and this is when he started making the, oops, I'm having here my touch. This is the agricultural harmonizer, sacred qubit. But what we found now is that the lost qubit actually works better for plant growth and for farming than the sacred cupid. And that doesn't mean the sacred cupid doesn't work. It just is that the lost cupid works much faster. Okay, so this is the different measurements. As you know now, or can figure, is that they are used for different applications. And later, when I got introduced to the empowerment cupid measurement, this is where we say even agricultural just means it is the next size, but the community harmonizer, we called it community because what it has been done for communities was just really, really fantastic. You know, it was amazing what results people had with using that. So this is why, I mean, the side effects of the harmonizers are reduced. Like if you use one for air pollution, side effects can be reduced crime rates, or in reduced drug abuse. One customer was sharing her suicidal rate. She lives in an area apparently where there were a lot of suicides, and it's up between 30 and 40% since she has the harmonizer running. So it's very, very powerful what we have here. And sometimes what I notice, people don't even make the connection with the tools. You know, Virginia shakes her head because, I mean, Virginia is amazing. She came to, I think you came to my first workshop in April 2000. Yeah, so when, you know, after Slim's passing in November 2007, I thought, okay, I gotta continue with the work. This is what I want. I mean, we created so many more tools together, and of course, I wanted to continue. And so I invited Scott Anderson to do the first Slim workshop with me, and we both were really excited. And anyway, Virginia was so aligned with the energy of the harmonizers. And so, Virginia, I think it would be a good time for you to share a little what you noticed, what difference they make. Because I know other people, you know, sometimes I have been donating or giving people as a steward some tools. And then I said, when I ask what happened, then, well, nothing. And then, well, how about your plants? Oh, they are growing amazing now. How about hurricanes? Oh, yeah, we didn't have a hurricane for the last 3 years since I have this harmonizer, you know. And how is the neighborhood? Yeah, the nasty neighbor actually moved, you know. So, but this person didn't make the connection with the harmonizer. So, but Virginia is just remarkable in how she connects with the energy of the harmonizer. So would you like to share a little? I put you on the spot, so I did not even know she's coming. So, but Virginia is, yeah, is amazing. If you want to share, you have to unmute yourself. On the top left. There you go.
All right. So hi, everybody. I'm in Albany, New York, and I've been a distributor for, I think, 12 years now. And I love the tools. I love sacred geometry. I love watching change happen in the environment and my clients that come for body work, myself. I feel like this energy has helped me really work through depression and come into my own and be much more empowered to let myself just be out there in the world. And the harmonize, I'm so connected to them. I can feel when they're working, and I can see when clients of mine are using the tools and help them connect with seeing change in their life and attributing it to the fact they're wearing a harmonizer or a ring or whatever someone's connected to. But we have over, that I know of, I'm sure there's more around in the area, but there's about 40 different size harmonizers now going in the Capital District here. And pretty much 24 hours a day for a lot of people. For me, I still can't do that all the time because I do have detox, which is a very positive thing, because I know the scalar energy is helping me heal and get my energy fields very coherent. So I run the Matrix or the Storm Chaser almost all the time now in the garage. And just that it's not in the house seems to be working. And we're having incredible results here. The air quality for the last 3 months, everything's been right under all the levels. Yeah, I love that. That looked nice. So gold. Looked nice. Oh, I love them.
Matrix.
I love them. So the Taurus field is just so beautiful what it does. And the neighborhood I'm living in, I've seen so many changes and improvements in houses. The birds that are coming in, I even see more frogs, which has gotten me very excited because frogs, I hardly ever saw them anymore. And there was more frogs. So, and I just feel like it balances nature. But just watching it impact people making, sometimes it's a subtle change and I'll just know, oh my gosh, it's the scalar energy from these tools. And it's fun to talk about and place them on people's bodies. But having the big field effects, I love, because I think it's what the world needs. We need to just be expanding our consciousness. And these harmonizers do that. It's just beautiful. We just got rated the top city to live in New York State. And I attribute the harmonizers to a big piece in that.
Awesome.
Yeah, because there's so much
Really
business
awesome.
coming in, and it improves, your job, businesses. I mean, it's really amazing. It's really great. So thank you.
I love that. Thank you so
Me
much,
too.
Virginia.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, but Virginia was talking about the scalar energy, and this is what we found was that the tools, the rings, and all the tools harmonizers, seem to enhance the scalar energy. And the scalar energy is on the planet everywhere. However, it is not the same strength everywhere. And so with our light life tools, we are able to, or they are enhancing the scalar energy. So that's pretty remarkable. Thanks so much for sharing that. So so those of you who are familiar with the Merkaba field, the harmonizer seems to create almost the same energy field as a Merkaba. And so that's really important to see. So, and here, is the storm chaser that Virginia was talking about. And this is the Matrix 22. And so, let me just, I'm kind of jumping a little, but I guess that's okay because Virginia talked about it. So I want to just bring this to your attention. Slim started making the storm chasers of one made out of one sacred cubit rings. And when Slim started making the harmonizers in 1993, I believe, he said the energy or people were not ready, the consciousness wasn't ready for a one sacred qubit harmonizer. And this is also very important to understand with our tools, especially those of you who have been around for a while. If I don't see you anymore. So one of our old customers, friends of Slim's, was here earlier. And so anyway, in the beginning, the tools are really through the light fields they are generating, where there is so much light, it helps raising our consciousness. Where we have the air pollution, and even sometimes it looks like the sun is shining, but really there is like this haze over it. So we don't get the full light, but we really want that really nourishes us. And with our harmonizers, we can, and what Slim was saying, with this coherent light field and the frequencies that are inside the toroidal field and that are basically overriding the disharmonics. And one of the disharmonics is the air pollution. So, this is why the more we have, the denser the field, the more the consciousness is raising, and the more people are waking up. And I think this is what we really need now, right? And so this first storm chaser Slim made in 2005 after Katharina hit. And we were in Germany, first in the UK and then in Germany at the time. And he was very upset about the damage. And so he came back and made several of the storm chasers to give to people that were in hurricane-prone seasons areas, you know. And when we had the oil spill in 2010, I sent over $40,000 worth of product in the area. We had storm chasers on Destiny, Florida, on Galveston, Texas, and then all over Louisiana to really make a difference. And I was told that our Matrix 22 gold-plated, if that would be in the water, they could actually transform the molecules from the harmful molecules to something positive for marine life. And so one of the people we knew there, her sister had a private plane, so she put one of those on a buoy and dropped it off in the water. And, you know, but we were able, and I'm sure many others contributed, so I'm not arrogant to say only the harmonizers have been doing it, but they definitely contributed quite a bit to you know, a hurricane that would have just created a genocide was you know, collapsed, and they didn't know why. So anyway, that's a lot of amazing things we can do for the environment. And yeah, let me just go back to the smaller versions for a while. So I want to go back to the environmental harmonizer because that was the first one that Slim made, followed by the agricultural. And just to get an idea of how you can use it, especially now, you know, we are told we can catch viruses and we can catch this and that. And so, and or, you know, of course, bacteria is a different matter altogether. But Slim was called to a home of a writer who was poisoned with anthrax. So with what was it? I think it was radionic devices. They tested his house and property, and it was just saturated with anthrax. And so Slim, being an herbalist, self-taught herbalist, and also worked with a native woman who told him that the puffball, which is called puffball because when you step on it, the spurs go out. And this has antiviral and antibacterial properties. So what Slim was doing, he was taking a piece of puffball, stuck it in the harmonizer, and then at that time, that was in the 90s, he played this environmental clearing tape. And I don't know for how long, obviously I wasn't there. But anyway, once they checked the environment again, it was completely free of anthrax and any other harmful bacteria, you know. So, and those of you who were around when anthrax was sent in the mail to different people, Slim stuck a little piece of puffball into his personal harmonizer to make sure his surrounding is safe from anthrax as well, and other stuff also. So this is something you can always do, you know, and you can put the harmonizer in a little pouch and just wear it under your shirt, and you can be protected if you happen to go in areas where there is a lot of unwelcome stuff around in the air where you are not sure, you know, then I think that would be a good idea, because right now we really don't know anymore what to believe, what's true or not. Okay, so the environmental harmonizer, as I mentioned earlier, this was also the harmonizer that was used for the Denver Clearing Project on March 18, 1994. And so what they did were in strategic positions down from Colorado Springs up through Denver, going over to the west in Boulder and up to Fort Collins, they placed 10 of his friends and him. They placed environmental harmonizer with the R2 and the tape, and they played from 1 p.m. For an hour until 2 p.m. They played the frequencies, and the tape was only 10 minutes long, so they had to go and repeat and repeat. You know, this is when you get a CD. We just filled the space, but you can hear every 10 minutes it starts basically the same again. And so that was basically the end of air pollution, at least until we got fires again in the Denver area. You know, when we had those big fires in Colorado and coming over from California, the air quality was really bad again here. However, before that, you know, it was for a long, long time that the air quality in Denver was amazing. And so this was just really gave Slim so much joy, because that was one of his, I want to say, life goals. Thank God he lived a little longer than that to accomplish that. And so going from the environmental harmonizer to the agricultural harmonizer. So when I asked Slim, how does it help the plants? And Slim said, what the harmonizers seem to be doing is strengthen the plants. And because insects go only to weak plants, plants that are not strong. And so he said, the harmonizer field generates such a strong field around the plants that insects are not drawn to them. And so this is how it helps them to have better crops, larger crops. We got one time pictures from, and I just cannot find them anymore, but from New Zealand, where farmers were using the harmonizers, and they put plain chain rings over the irrigation system, and their produce was so much better that they raised the standard to export produce. You know, it was like the lemon were, I think, almost double the size before, but tasted better, was a much, much better quality. So that was the harmonizer, you know, the environmental and the agricultural harmonizer. And of course, when it comes to air pollution, to diverting tornadoes and hurricanes, this is definitely the way to go. We have many reports from people when I say we had tornado warning, we activated our harmonizer, and you know, at the news, the people, better people say, we don't know what happened, but the tornado went right around our city, you know, and it's just. Well, years ago, we had a report from Japan. We had a distributor in Japan on the West Coast, and there was a typhoon hitting the West Coast. And then he sends us a satellite picture, and you see how it's splitting. And then he says, this is where I sold most of the harmonizers. So this area was free. So don't tell me people only prayed for this area to be protected and not the rest of it, okay? But it really showed what they can do for us. And, you know, so I think we already saved millions of people worldwide without them ever knowing, but that's not the point. You know, the point is that we do what we do to make a difference on the planet. So, and it's so much fun. So anyway, so this is what this little gadget, and there was on the East Coast, I think it was the Carolinas, a hurricane was also a danger of hurricanes, and they activated the environmental harmonizers and the agricultural harmonizers. And not only were they able to be saved from a hurricane coming in, but also they noticed over time, activating all the harmonizers in the area, that it had a very positive effect on the marine life. The fishes had better, do you say harvesting? I have no idea what the word is. But so anyway, they had a really positive effect on all the marine life and everything that they were catching. So this is that. Now, those of you who are health practitioners, what you can also do is using this one. If you do a session on people, the layout with the rings, and then they have special areas where they need more attention, then you can put that in a little feedback loop, and I put it in the feedback loop so it doesn't fall off when people are breathing. And then, you can put a CD under it to activate the field and help people in healing sessions, a very powerful tool. So it can go really deep and can have an enormous effect. And I can show you more of that whenever you have time to come to another live workshop. We haven't scheduled one, but in a workshop, I give sessions, and participants, give sessions to each other, and then you can really feel how that has an impact. So what am I doing next? Yeah, okay, so health practitioners who use the harmonizers, and some of them apparently were wearing them over their neck. And so they begged Slim to please make a smaller version, because they say, when I hug my clients after the session, the environmental harmonizer really hurts on my chest. So please come up with a smaller version. And this is when Slim started with the personal harmonizer. And the personal harmonizers are doing the same. It's the same principle as every other harmonizer. And it can really strengthen your energy field. It can protect you. You can also, in healing sessions, you can use it over, you can use it over the chakras. You can, just see how the energy needs to swing to help each chakra. It's a very powerful tool that you can use in a healing session if that's something that you are doing. Of course, we have the personal harmonizers as well as the other harmonizers in different combinations now. And how it came, lost qubit. Let's go back to the sacred qubit for a moment. In the beginning, obviously, Slim only had the sacred qubit, and I have met law enforcement officer. She said she'd rather is late to work than without her harmonizer, because it so changed her work that she still is called to the same houses, but people are much easier to calm down, and all the it seems everything that comes in the vicinity of the harmonizer has a positive effect. No. Excuse me. And so this is where it's really powerful. Also, paramedics say that when only one of them in the team wears a personal harmonizer, it has a positive effect on the whole team. The people are, especially when they come to accidents, severe accidents, which is obviously stressful for the team as well as for the people involved in the accidents, that it helps the team members to stay calm, and it helps the people that are in the accident, that they notice that it really seems to help them calm down easier. and faster. So it's an amazing tool if you're a public speaker, wearing it under your shirt, close to your throat. They reported that they feel the audience I don't perceive the message they have better than without the harmonizer. So they had, time to notice the difference with or without the harmonizer. And yeah, so it's an amazing tool. And of course, we have it for the lost qubit. When it comes to the harmonizers, the lost qubit seems to, excuse me, the lost qubit seems to work really better to, let me just see, the lost qubit, when you have emotional stuff going on, it seems to be a mood lifter. Marina, can you bring me something for my throat, please? My assistant is next door, so I hope I have somewhere in my drawer a little something for my throat. So anyway, so the lost qubit, when it comes to the harmonizers, like the environmental and the agricultural, or for plant growth, for the gold-plated one, the silver-plated one, for helping with emotional stuff, mental emotional stuff, and the personal, both gold and silver, to really seem to work. Do you have a sweet something that I can chew?
True, no.
Maybe my drawer. I don't know. Thank you. And so, yeah, so it seems to be a uplifter. And when Slim made the first wash tubs, which we just sold the last one, so we don't have one in the office right now. But the wash tub is basically this one twice the size. So it has a sacred qubit inside, and thank you, and a lost qubit around. So it is quite big. And so the results with the wash tubs were really amazing. And they seem to help. I don't know if that is going to do it, but let me try that. So it's one of the side effects of the wash tub, apart from cleaning the air, was that it helped to get rid of corruption in some states. It has been supporting the overall community. And in a friend of ours in Montana, she has a 3,000-acre ranch where she raises buffaloes and horses. And she said that when there was a year some time ago now where they had a big drought in Montana, and she had lushy green on her ranch, and at that time her neighbors were not open to our technology. They said, "Oh, I don't want to hear about your voodoo science." In the meantime, things have changed, and the neighbors came around and they are working together. And she definitely contributes that also to the harmonizer. She has more than one. And so anyway, going back to the wash tub, when we had that and all those results, then I said, wouldn't it be nice to have one as a pendant? So I had one of my craftsmen start working on a harmonizer, and I call it Unity, because for me it is like, it has the, let's just see, can you see it? It's the sacred qubit inside and the lost qubit outside. And of course they come in gold and silver. And for most of the jewelries, I prefer silver, but we do have some pieces where gold just needs to be it. Yeah, the silver just doesn't do it for me. But this is the Unity Harmonizer. And that has been really, really amazing, helping people. one of the significant things was with a guy, tattoo artist, very big, strong. You think nothing can harm him. But he had his little studio in a saloon, and the owner, she was really unpredictable. There were times when she would just blow off, like right in his face, and then she would be nice, and then she would. So he was kind of scared to go to work, and so I said, well, he should buy the Unity Harmonizer. And I don't wear jewelry. I said, yeah, but you have a pocket, right? Put it in your pocket. So he was wearing it in his pocket, and lo and behold, this woman didn't come close to him anymore. So he said she definitely stayed about 12 feet away from him, was waving, was always nice. And another person, and that was obviously when he started becoming a believer. Before he was like, oh, you and your stuff. And so, but we are not in the convincing business. We just have people experiment it and try for themselves. And the other one was the wife of an associate, and she was a sweet lady, but she was definitely mobbed by at work. She was managing a group of people, and the person above her used every opportunity to talk down to her in front of her people and really giving her a hard time. And so I said, hey, it's time for her to try the Unity Harmonizer, and she was like blown away by the difference it made. This woman would not even talk to her, wouldn't come close to her, would not say anything bad about her anymore. And it was, just beautiful to see that, how we can help people and make a difference. And we also have some of them in the smaller sizes, because, especially for children, some people just don't want to have, some men don't want to have anything showing under the shirt. And so the smaller versions work better for them. But the smaller versions, I was shown the mini personals, they create a shield around us. It's softer than what the standard sizes do, and I'm very visual. So what I'm seeing when I say that is like the standard, they seem to create almost like a wall around us, an invisible wall. And the softer one, this is for me like this plastic that is kind of going in, but still has a protection around me. So this is how I see that, or how I experience that. I mean, I'm not clairvoyant. I see sometimes, but this is the picture that that was basically given to me when I heard that. So we also have, when we started with the new measurement, the empowerment qubit, and then of course, my shop production manager and artist, she's so amazing. She always is up for a challenge. And so I said, do you think you can actually make a personal harmonizer out of the 3 measurements, And so I don't, oh yes, I have one here. And let me just see, I think I also have some pictures, so I can, yeah, let me show, this is the, okay, let me share my screen. So for those of you, okay, so here, this is like the sacred qubit, the lost qubit, and this is the combination, the sacred and the lost qubit. But the unity, I don't have a picture here right now, but this is, can you, no, you cannot see that. I gotta stop sharing again. How can I show you that? I didn't mean to show you the unity again. I wanted to, wait a moment. I wanted to show you the synergy, but it doesn't look like I have a synergy. Anyway, you can go on our website and look at the synergy, or maybe Marina, if you want to bring me a synergy in gold-plated personal harmonizer. Thank you. Just that you see, we have obviously the environmental harmonizer in synergy, and oh, perfect. Thank you so much. My assistants are so amazing. Can you see it? So you see, I mean, this is just amazing how she makes those. And of course, this one we cannot make it smaller because it's just too difficult to make anyway. But this one, silver-plated, the Synergy silver-plated lacquer, was tested by an institute in Belgium, and that seems to be the best protection, especially for very sensitive people or people that are in a lot of EMF locations. Like if you're working somewhere, the Synergy silver-plated lacquer, according to his testing, was the very best one. But the silver-plated Unity is also a good choice. But it really depends, you know. I mean, people always have to see what fits in their budget and what is the most important thing. When you consider what is it that I want for myself, then always look, you know, what is the bigger picture. And I never want anybody to get something because and then they say, oh my God, how am I going to pay the rent? You know, so this is not what I want you to do, because I just want you to see what can I do with the means I have and what can support me where I am right now the very best. And so this is very important to me. And let me just see. One more harmonizer I want to show you, and then I want to share my new project where I came up with on Saturday, actually, in a seminar. But because we were looking for how we can help people with the 5G technology. And so we have done some testings, and I had several clairvoyant people check the different products that we were making. And the best solution is our empowerment in new dimension. And the new dimension, you can see that. That means it is the wire is twisted again. So if you compare it with the standard harmonizer, this is a single twist, and this is double twisted. So the wire is twisted, and then it's twisted again. And so we were shown that this would definitely be the best solution when it comes to 5G technology. And we also have those in personal harmonizers, in Sacred, Lost, and Unity, but the Unity is the best when it comes for the personal field. But, and this, you know, you might say, first I say for EMF silver-plated, now I say gold for 5G. What am I talking about, right? So I still have it together. And the thing is, the EMF are frequencies, are waves. And the 5G was shown to me as pulsing. And so this is why the gold-plated has a higher frequency and is better when it comes for the 5G. And something really cool, and that is also important for those of you who have already a harmonizer, is that what we found with the new dimension, our standard rings have a tensor field, and that works inside of the ring, okay? So this is a tensor light life ring. It works inside. Our new dimension rings, they are spreading out. So when you put your harmonizer, and like this empowerment community harmonizer comes with a 1.5 lost qubit new dimension ring to expand the field. So, and we were told that it would expand the field about 3 times. And one of our associates, she had a standard harmonizer and used a a smaller lost qubit ring, and she said, oh my God, it does the same here. So apparently for all the harmonizers, when you put it in a new dimension ring, then it expands the field of the harmonizer. If it always goes out 3 times, you can test it with dowsing or check any way you have. But this was the exciting thing that I found out about that. And of course, the standard rings, if I put a harmonizer in a ring, then the field of the harmonizer gets contained to the size of the field. But when, and this is something we do, for example, I have a friend who lives in Tulco, Mexico, and they had a hurricane warning, so I printed out a map and I put a harmonizer on the map, on the CD, and I put the ring around it to protect, with the intention to protect this area. And, they were actually saved from the hurricane. Again, I'm not saying this is, only the harmonizers, but it's really interesting how they can work together, I gotta tell you a war story in a little bit about what's possible with that. So anyway, so this is important to understand. So for those of you who already have a harmonizer, consider getting a new dimension ring to expand the field of your harmonizer. Okay, and yeah, because I sometimes the question is, do you have to believe in it? Do you have to do this and that? And how can you be so sure that your tools are making a difference? And so one interesting thing that just I was reminded of the other day was when SARS, SARS Hong Kong, you might remember that. And then Slim was guided to send one of the harmonizers, and I don't remember now, was it the wash tub? Or I think it was a wash tub. He sent it to Hong Kong to an associate he had there. And so he activated it with the CD, SARS stopped, and he went on vacation. SARS came back, he came home, the CD player broke. He got another CD player, played the CD again, SARS stopped again. And then you can say, yeah, that's nice. So the same year, we were at the West Coast Dowsers Convention, which is, I think it was the same year or the following year. I don't remember, but we were at the conference, and then an Asian lady came to Slim, and she looked at him and she said, you were helping with SARS, right? And Slim and I, we looked at her, and she said, yeah, I'm a healer, and I was wondering how I can do what I can do for my people, to help with SARS. And my guides were telling me I don't have to worry about it because there is someone taking care of it. And she was shown, not Slim from the front, but she was shown Slim from the side. And when she saw him, she approached him and said, you helped with SARS, I mean, I still get a chill, and I haven't shared that, I think, before because it's like a little out there, but it was just so amazing, so to get like a confirmation this way, and then of course whatever. But this, I found that pretty interesting. Another thing was when I think it was Sandy hitting the East Coast, and we had a wash tub there on a strategic position, but I wanted to upgrade it. So I asked the woman to send it back to us. And I said, we ship it out the same day we receive it. It's just an upgrade that I find important. So anyway, so she was concerned. She watched the weather, and the weather had huge damage predicted for her area. Okay, so we sent her the harmonizer back right away, and with the tracking number, so she could follow exactly where the harmonizer is. So the closer the harmonizer came into her area, the less damage was predicted, and it finally was minor damage. I mean, I think some trees fell, or heavy rain, or I don't even know if they had a power outage for an hour or two. So nothing compared from the millions of damage that they were predicting that Sandy would be doing in her area. You know, so I think it's just so amazing. I'm so grateful for being able to do that and share that with all of you, because it's just a lot of fun. And so now I want to share with you what my latest is, because I'm so super excited. And so I took this class and I was like, okay, what is my goal? And the one I had was a little too small. And so I said, okay, I want to have something bigger. And then, you know, I was, and Slim was, it was like he was whispering in my ear. And Slim's big goal, and those of you who have the DVD, the interview with Alan Steinfeld, you know that he said if he lives long enough, he wants to clean air pollution in the whole US. And how to do that is position 700 harmonizers on the west coast of North America, because he said the pollution comes from China. And if we block it there, you know, the rest of the state, you know, the continent is going to have much less air pollution. Okay, so I thought, wow, that is interesting. How did he put that bug in my ear? So anyway, I did some research, I was sharing it, and this is what I really wanna work on now, and this so inspires me. And so of course, you know, like I was sharing it, and one of my associates, she did already some research, and I looked and I said, okay, from Vancouver, Canada, down to Tijuana, Mexico, how many miles are that? Because my estimate was we could probably do it with about 100 harmonizers. With the new, the ones we're having now, you know, they are going out so much further. And so, and already, I mean, I was just like writing down, making notes, doing this. And so, of course, we need people. And I mean, it's not us doing it, it's all of us doing it, right? Because this is a project so much bigger than each one of us. And so what I see what needs to happen is that, first of all, getting for the last 12 months, reports on the air pollution levels for each month, because then we can see, okay, it was higher here because of the fire or something, so that we have a really good report. Or on some months the pollution is higher than on others, so that we get really like from each area a report, so that we can actually see how it's going to change. And then looking which areas are the most crucial, where should we have more units, and then where do we have already units in place, so to activate the customers that have already harmonizers. And then of course, how do you want to contribute? Do you want to get a harmonizer for yourself, and because you live on the West Coast, or you know, some of us have the finances to buy one and say, okay, you find the right people for it, or some of us know people that are trustworthy. Because what's really important to understand, and I think what Virginia presented so nicely, was that the harmonizers work with you. So I don't want someone who just puts it there and say, do your work, you know, because they want to interact with you. You know, everything is made out of molecules. So the harmonizer is made out of molecules. I have this baby in my house and I talk to it. You know, I'm happy when I see it, and I know he is happy to see me, you know, and it might like, really, come on, woman, but it doesn't matter, you know. So really they work with us and they want us to work with them. So it's a give and take. And so I want to have people that really say, okay, I want to make a difference there, and I want to do what I can on this area. And so this is totally what excites me. Of course, you know, It was Saturday, so today is Thursday. We don't have a plan in place, but I'm already, my brain is doing overtime right now. It's usually not slow anyway, but it's really doing a lot of things. If you have ideas, if you, say, hey, I could do this, I could that, I have connections here, I have connections there. So I really want this to be a project that we, all of us, work together and make a huge difference. And of course, Virginia, you might say, how about the East Coast? The next thing I thought, okay, when we have this project running, then let's focus on the East Coast and let's place Harmonizer to have less and less hurricanes on the East Coast, and maybe we can eliminate them altogether. So you can say I'm not retiring soon. But anyway, this is what my project is. This is what I want you guys to think about, share it, and see how can we make it actually work, because I think we have the means. It's like, this is what I say to Slim when I first met him after the workshop, and I knew him for 3 hours, 4 hours, and I said, you created a technology that can change the face of the planet. You have to get it out in the world. It's not you had a handful of distributors, and so for me it was like, hey, we gotta get it out, and this is the same now, where I say, hey, we have this amazing technology, so we gotta get it out in a wider thingy. And I'm so grateful that I finally came up with this idea where he put it in my ear, because I couldn't get up, came up with it alone. So anyway, so this is my latest project. I want all of you to think about it, see how you can help us, how we can make it work. And so now I want to see, before I turn the recording off to give you my special, I want to see if you guys have any questions so that I can actually answer your questions. Yes, okay, David, yes, and I can show you that later, the health application. And the reason why I put a harmonizer in a feedback loop is because when people are moving, when they are breathing, then the harmonizer would fall off, and the feedback loop is a really nice stand to put it in there. And maybe Marina can bring me a feedback loop so I can show it to all of you what it looks like. And then a physical CD, or you can also put earphones on the harmonizer and play the CD with it. That's another. So, okay, the personal harmonizer. Wait a moment. I think she's bringing me one. Yes, thank you, Astrid. Okay, awesome. So this is a larger feedback loop. Usually I use the smaller one, but that's okay. So then we show a bigger harmonizer. And can you see that? So basically you put the harmonizer inside the feedback loop, and then you can put the CD under it. You see it? Okay. So that's, and then the CD under it, because the harmonizers act like radionic devices, so they are communicating with each other, and they can pick up the frequency from the CD and then expand the field to where it needs to go. Okay, is the personal harmonizer based on a qubit link? Yes, of course. The personal harmonizers are an 8. Which one did I have earlier? Oh, here. So they are, all of the tools we are making are fractions of either sacred, lost, or empowerment qubit. So this is the sacred qubit. This is an 8th of a sacred qubit. Okay, and this is a quarter of a sacred qubit, and this is a half of a sacred qubit. And like the matrix 44 is called 44 because it is a quarter of a sacred qubit, versus the matrix 22 is a half of a sacred cupid and a half of a lost cupid. Okay. Oh, the Tibetan pendant, my favorite Tibetan pendant. Yes. Yes, of course. So my Tibetan pendant came about as I actually have a Tibetan pendant, and that's made out of, can you see that? Out of double torches. And so a friend of mine said, wouldn't it be nice to have that made out of harmonizers? And I'm like, what a great idea. And Slim actually told me once a very cute version of a small harmonizer. And I said, why don't we make those? And he said, I don't have a craftsman who can do that. And again, my amazing shop production manager, she always up for a challenge. She made me the first Tibetan pendant, and it has been my favorite ever since. And so I had it tested, and I was told that it's actually, if you wear it on the timers, it's helping with rejuvenation, with longevity, and because, and I didn't say that with the personal harmonizers, all the other ones above personal come with a CD, but this one, when I'm talking, or when you're wearing it and you're talking through the vibration from our tone, from our speech, it's expanding the field. And so this is supposed to have about a 1.5 mile radius. And so I like to wear that on the plane. Sometimes I'm wearing my, depending where I'm going, my Unity New Dimension, because of the 5G stuff going on. But this is definitely one of my favorite. And talking about 5G and EMF, actually this one in silver is my one and only to take on the plane. Before we had that, I was using the sacred cupid in sterling, in silver plating, because the silver plating is for EMF. And so this one goes in my carry-on wherever I am. I have one in my car, and just to help myself and everybody else with the strong EMF that are on the plane, you know. So wait a moment. Yes, bringing them to South Africa. Oh my God, that would be so cool. Actually, Slim was in South Africa in 2005 in Cape Town, and Anthea Thor was sponsoring the workshop. I don't know. You know, yeah. So anyway, yeah, bringing more harmonizers. And if you go on our website, there is the name of a contact person in South Africa. And actually, he might have still some of the original books, because I sent him some, and contact him to give you a book, Wendy. Okay. So because I told him, I said, hey, you know, to ship them back to us wouldn't make any sense, because, you know, the water gets more important, more expensive than the soup, kind of, with the saying that we have in Bavaria. So anyway, yeah, that would be so cool. We had a doctor out of Nigeria. Oh, you got one. There you go. Unmute yourself, Winnie.
Thanks. Hi, Katrina. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I've got three. I've got two little ones like this, and then I've got a bigger one, which I think is the agricultural one. I don't know if it's handy here, so I can't show you, but I actually bought these in 2008 at a Matrix Energetic seminar. I met somebody there. And so I've had them all these years, and I've set them up in my place, and I've got a big feedback loop and a small feedback loop. And I look at them now and I think, you know, I just felt them open my heart when I met them back then. And then
Who
about,
was it? Who did you buy it from?
I don't know, it was a lady, and she was at a Matrix Energetic seminar, and I met her, and I don't know her name or anything.
Yes, okay.
But I've had them since then, since 2008, and I set them
Okay.
up. Yeah, and, and about a month ago, I felt Slim actually come and say, "Hey, get activated again." And it was so funny because I've been pulling them out from all sorts of places, around a pot plant that is thriving. And so it's been such fun. And I've set them up at my treatment bed. I do sound healing and
Oh,
stuff.
oh, good.
Um, so I've had them set up there. And then sometimes I'd also use them energetically in a session. So I wouldn't pick up the physical thing. I would just
Uh-huh.
kind of hold the what not the feedback loop, what's the other one, the
Aquavacol.
yeah, the AccuVac coil, and just play with them energetically in the session. So yeah, I've been very connected with them, but then I really felt this, Slim saying, come on, it's time.
Good, good. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Slim, if you read the, was it no, I think the second book. Yeah, the second book. There's a channeling from Tana, and Slim said, "Hey, I'm not going anywhere. Invite me for a cup of coffee." And I show up, and my new employee asked it. She actually, when she came for her interview in person, I gave her a book and a ring and a DVD, and so when she came to my workshop on the 1st of October, she said, "How does he like his coffee?" Because I gave it black to him, and I said, "Yes, that's exactly how he likes it." And so he is definitely happy to help where he can. And so that's awesome. That's really great. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh my God, having
Thank,
the harmonizers in South Africa. So,
thank you.
okay, let me just see. Yeah, Virginia, Seattle, I can imagine that. We do have, we used to have a washed up north of Seattle, and we don't have a lot of harmonizer in that area. I don't know. I have to actually look and see where we have them. Virginia, yes, this is what I was told with the, and this is something you can douse if you want to douse that. If how far it actually goes out with when you put the CD on and put it in the new dimension ring. You can douse that and let me know because I really want to know. Yes, I think I answered that. The personal harmonizer is based on Cupid links. Yes. What is that? Oh, okay, more questions. Thank you. Okay, so no, okay, the personal harmonizer, the loop is not calculated in the size. Where's David? So, oh, here you are now. You have been moving on my screen. So, no, because the measurement always goes from the ring, and the same with the other harmonizers, the stand is not included in the measurement. Okay, so if you want to make one, you got to make sure to do it right. So, okay, let me see what there are questions. Tibetan pendant. Yeah, maybe you can contact Anthea Thor. And I think the workshop was in Cape Town, but I think she is on LinkedIn. I think you can find her on LinkedIn. Yes, Dolores, that's correct. So the empowerment harmonizer, the new dimension, that comes with a ring to recharge it, and with the new dimension ring and with the CD. And so the best option for children to wear if their school is near a 5G tower, I would probably, the best option how old are the children? Would probably be the personal unity is the most powerful when it comes to 5G. And so okay, so let me just see. That is answered, yeah. That is answered. Okay, someone with anxiety problem. So, oh man, I probably need to put a disclaimer in here. So before I do any, okay, so I'm doing it all a little backwards today, but that's okay. So I gotta share the screen. I gotta put my disclaimer in here so that you know that there are no, I cannot make any medical claims, neither do I want to. And I can give you all kinds of sharings what happened with people. But the thing is that everyone is different and the situation is different. And, you know, our tools, and especially the harmonizers, they support our growth, they support our work, but they don't do the work for us. So they don't interfere. And if you have people that say, oh, the energy is too much for me, if someone doesn't want to change and the harmonizer can show you that a few things might need to change in your life, and if you are not interested in that, then you probably don't like the energy of the harmonizer. And, you know, then when people say, oh, the energy is not good for me, and that is okay, because we all have our path, we all have our purpose in life, and for some it might not be not to grow much in this life, and we should just accept that and not try to you know, force people into anything. So going back to you, Sonia, with too many people following her, do you want to unmute yourself and let me know a little more what you mean by that? Okay, I think everybody knows the disclaimer. Sonia, where are you? Was it Sonia? Well, Amy, that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so Sonia, let me go back to your question. So I think when it comes to anxiety, in general, the lost qubit harmonizer can probably support it. And when it comes to being sensitive to too many people in general, I would probably, you know, one of the, I would use a combination, a personal harmonizer and a lotus pendant, because the lotus pendant can help you staying really in, keep your energy within you. So it's, and can, one of the second friends I have, she said she was wearing the lotus pendant and she was in a group of people where usually she gets a little overwhelmed, and but she you know, got a very clear message where she thinks she wouldn't have gotten it otherwise, from one of her dogs to go home. And she said, you know, the dog was sick and she was contributing it to the lotus pendant, that this helped her staying in her energy while there was a lot of chaos around it. So I would probably go with a combination, maybe a silver-bladed personal harmonizer, and maybe even a mini lost qubit. Again, it always depends on what people can, you know, how much they want to spend. But that's what I would do. And yeah, a lotus pendant. So that would be the thing to do. And I think these are all the questions I have for you. So, and Marina, so I'm going to stop the recording so that I can tell you what my special is. Are you sure? Yeah.